Let's start. I welcome everyone to our today's job search roundtable discussion. I figured that having this roundtable is going to help not just you, but also the audience that is watching us, because I believe as a recruiter, as a person, that we have enough challenges in life that we face alone. And a challenge like looking for a new opportunity during pandemic should be something where you can get help from peers, from people who are going through similar phase. So let's start the discussion. I welcome all my guests. I appreciate their kindness and generosity to share experience. And of course, I know that success and your job, it's just a matter of time. So we are here to chat, to talk, to answer questions. And of course, I'm here to support. So the first guest that I want to introduce is Niharika Sukhrani, Master of Engineering. Niharika has 7 years of experience. And what I want to say is that Niharika is new to Canada. However, very ambitious person, was in leadership roles in supply chain where good presentation skills and communication skills were in high demand. So Niharika, what is your impression of the Canadian job market? What do you see? What frustrates you? What excites you? Please share with us.
Hi Tatiana and hi everyone. So glad to connect here on this platform, and thank you for giving me this opportunity and to come be an inspiration to a newcomers over here in Canada. It's actually been exactly 2 months for me. A bit brief background about me is energy. I'm an energy and a procurement professional with over 7 years of experience. And yeah, Canada, I can see, is a very welcoming country, first of all, to everyone, every new immigrant, I can say. It has been very kind to me since the day I have landed here. First 14 days of my quarantine was very tough without an internet, without a Wi-Fi. I have survived. So yes, we all can do. It is frustrating a bit because yeah, pandemic has changed everybody's life over here, and the new norm we have to get used to is this pandemic and this job search market over here. So, with respect to the job search market, I can say it has started to open up here, and there are many jobs which are there where you can just put on your perspective and you think you can go ahead. The frustrating part of, okay, I can say, is the long wait. Sometimes you have to be very patient. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to get the response from the employers. Please have that patience and faith in yourself. Okay, things will turn around. Just give it some time. Have I can say, a backup of 6 months for yourself. Give yourself the time of 6 months. That's very important. Trust yourself. Things will turn around for you. But yeah, it is also exciting to connect with new people. I can say LinkedIn is a very good platform. I've learned a lot through LinkedIn by connecting to people, and especially to you also. And I have been listening to your YouTube channels. That is a very good source of inspiration. That was a point in my life where, I thought nothing is working out for me. But yeah, after listening to that session, after connecting to people, I can say I got to know how their stories were, how should I align myself to the new market, how the work culture is over here. So it's very important for any newcomer to understand the culture, the background, because back in our home country, things work very differently. And, you climb a ladder after a certain period of time. So here, you first analyze yourself and where do you want to see yourself. Short term, long term plans, plan out everything. Sometimes, things start frustrating. Don't give up, I can say. Strategize your work, strategize your align yourself in that direction, keep yourself motivated, be positive, I can say. And that's where you will go. I'm sure it will, give some time, it will be in your way.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
that's how,
important.
yeah.
That's why we are here to keep our audience stay positive. And also, I'm glad that you said set realistic goals, realistic time goals.
Yeah.
Give yourself that extra time that you need. Be persistent and have long-term, short-term plan, and maybe have a backup plan. Like when we came to Canada in 2009, I had to spend 8 months in survival job before I got my first job in supply chain. So life is quite unpredictable. It is how resilient and flexible you are. Thank you, Niharika, for your story. We will definitely get back to your experience and what has changed over the past weeks. So the next guest is Vinay. Vinay is a highly educated professional in supply chain management, operations, Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering, Master of Science in Operations and Project and Supply Chain Management. The most recent role that Vinay had was materials supervisor at Magna International here in Canada. So when I know that you are going through the job search yourself, you do have Canadian experience, you do have the education. So what challenges you are facing? Do you have an answer for yourself why it is working or not working for you? And maybe any lessons that you want to share?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you for this opportunity, first of all. I would say, like you mentioned, I've been in Canada for close to 4 years now. I've worked here all this time. I was recently laid off because of the global semiconductor shortage in the automotive industry, and we were restructuring. So I would say, it's a tricky market right now. Like there are job opportunities. If you go and see on Indeed, every day you'll see demand plan or frontline roles. Many of the organizations, I think, are restructuring now. They're having a low cost approach, at least in automotive. I can see, they want to probably hire 2 people in the front line instead of having someone in a supervisory role or something like that, So lots of opportunities, but it gets trickier in terms of what you want to do and how you want to take your career ahead. So I think it all depends on personal circumstances. Like Niharika said, like you've got to think long-term and short-term, plan ahead, and in terms of timeline, fence it in terms of, what you want to do in this span of time and how you want to go ahead. So this is what I've been realizing, but nevertheless, I won't say it's a negative market. There are opportunities. It's a matter of patience too, giving it time and putting your hard work and just being patient and networking as much as you can and using all the job search skill sets that we'll be discussing.
Yeah, and of course, we will talk about what can increase your chances of getting a job, what can increase your personal job search efficiencies, what KPIs you can track. So definitely we'll get into that because in many cases, it is the number of how many jobs you apply for, how accurate your application is if this job is in line with your previous background. So we will touch on all those aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our next guest at the table is Rucha Pat. Rucha is a Bachelor of Commerce with what I have outstanding GPA, graduated from Hamburg College, Supply Chain Management. Rucha, I see that you had background in customer service. Right now, you are in warehouse operations. However, you have excellent advanced Excel skills, Power BI. So before you start introducing yourself, just quick feedback from me as a recruiter, because it may be helpful to the audience as well. When I was looking at your resume and reading just the top part of it, it said outstanding GPA, analytical skills, Power BI, advanced Excel skills. The first thing that came out to me, oh, she's probably looking for a supply chain analyst or demand planner position. And then I go into your background and I see that you haven't worked as an analyst. So what is your current situation? What struggle you are facing and what ideally you're looking for?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having us here. This actually means a lot for a job seeker. I can learn and maybe interact with everyone else. Probably, I think I'm still at the phase where I am in school in my last semester and going into the industry. So my perspective is very different than everyone here who already have a previous experience in this industry. I think right now, where I stand, where I'm graduating, this is a very nervous time for me because I am getting into the field, into the profession. So what I feel from my own perspective is that it is a little difficult for a newcomer to get into the market right now. There are many opportunities, but as Vinay said, that many professionals are laid out right now. So technically, it is like a newcomer who has never had experience is competing with someone who already have an experience. So it's a little overwhelming time for I think all the students out there right now. In terms of the resume, because being in a school, I can only work part-time. So it is not technically possible to get an analyst job with a part-time availability. So almost I've always been into the survival job, which you mentioned, which every one of us have to do when we come here. But my survival phase was longer, like for around 4 years of my degree. But now I have to channelize my career into something which I like, and I have been really interested in data analysis. As I said, I've been learning Power BI, Tableau, and Excel. So that's how I want to channelize my career ahead. Unfortunately, there hasn't been one experience, but I'm trying to learn the skills which could provide me that opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm glad, Roger, you said that, because this roundtable will also give you guys visibility, because you can only say so much based on the resume, but when potential hiring managers see you talking and presenting yourself, I hope it will also make a difference, especially for those of you like who don't have Canadian experience. So Rucha, thank you so much for sharing, and I also admire how humble you are, and how you can step back and take whatever the job is out there available, even though you still have your long-term goal and you pursue it with excellent marks at school. That's impressive.
Thank you. Those words are really sweet.
So the next guest is Kunal Daryani. Kunal is a Bachelor of Computer Science. I can see that Kunal is also advanced Excel skills, Tableau, 4+ years in supply chain analytics, inventory optimization, risk assessment, Six Sigma. Kunal, based on that, I can tell, why are you here? Are you still looking for work? What's going on?
Yes, I am, unfortunately. And first of all, thank you for having us here. This is my first time I'm interacting with all these kind of professionals at one platform. So yeah, it means a lot to me. And yes, unfortunately, last month I was asked, or I could say it was a mutual decision. So yes, I'm here in the job market. That's pretty much it. Yes, and what else can I say? Yeah, it's kind of difficult because obviously you have such good experience. All these analytical skills that I have or that I possess comes to an end where there are like a lot of people, those who are literally, I would say, they're in the market, getting anything. Like they just want work, but with all these immigrants coming in and a lot of people, those who don't really know, I would personally say, first of all, channelize yourself in certain way that you should know what you want to do. If you really are looking for a procurement job, go for it. Do not come and like just for the sake of having a job, go to a logistics role. That's very important. And if an individual, like I would say, learns or like, yeah, tries to see that, it would do something positive for us.
Kunal, you did work in Canada though.
Oh, yes. So I was working for Canopy Growth Corporation last month as a supply chain analyst. Before that, I have 2 years of experience in India as well, doing demand planning analyst. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So
yeah,
I don't know what else to say. Sorry, go ahead.
I understand that. We will get into a more detailed discussion, because it also depends what industry you're in. You were brave enough to go into Canopy Growth, into cannabis industry, so you can maybe share your experience with us. It's every journey is unique, so definitely.
I would say yes. That's what I wanted to particularly say to Rucha, because she's new to the market. I was like, I didn't had any prior like obviously demand planning had nothing to do with me coming to Canada. I just wanted to like see how Canada works, and then I was fortunate enough to get a position as a supply chain analyst. That was my first role here, and that too in a cannabis industry, which was just like legalized. So yes, it was a brave step, and yeah, it did work for me. The only thing was that they were not pretty. Like I would say, there were not pretty much anything else to do in Canopy. So they literally asked us that, okay, we are closing down the supply chain department, and asked us to leave. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty common story that I hear from candidates, from job seekers that I speak with. So, and the final guest that we have at the table is Rifar Sheikh. I spoke with Rifar a few weeks ago, and I found that with your fundamental knowledge and experience in supply chain and procurement, you worked with pharmaceutical, with medical industry in Canada, your Master of Supply Chain Management. From Schulich School of Business, you have degree in biology, and I know that in your life with pandemic, something else happened in your career journey that you are looking back. I don't know what your feelings are and what is your current situation with the job search, because with your experience, with your degree, with your knowledge of the industry, what do you see? What feedback do you get from the hiring?
So thank you for having us here first, and hello everyone. And what I would say, like the first thing that I would say, because I was listening to everyone's talking about their journey, have faith, because I was in your shoes like 8-10 years ago, and I experienced everything like exactly step by step that you're talking about, like what Rucha said, like getting from school to the market, how like even though that I had experience in my home country, and then being like Erica, like a newcomer, and start finding a job, and then survival job. So I had all of these experiences with me, but the only thing, have faith, because this will happen to everyone that comes, and it doesn't matter if it's like it's a tough market. Back then when I came to Canada, it was actually like for 2 years, like the first 2 years that I was here was very tough, like to find a job, studying at the same time. So I've been through everything, and I've like all of these steps. So the only thing that you need is just having faith. It will happen. It takes time. Like even after all of these years, I'm back to the first step. I'm back for like finding a job. So don't ever like be scared of, like this situation, because this might happen few more times in your life, like going back to the, first step and finding a job. And it's not as scary. It's actually like this time I cherish this situation because I talk to people, get to know them. It's very different. Like from the first time that I had this experience, I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, like who like to join, who to listen, like talking to, recruiters, talking to companies. And I was so scared even like sometimes to open their email and see if they wanted me or not. But now it's just totally different. It's like I just finished the school. So I was studying and working at the same time. And through the pandemic, I also lost my job, got laid off. And at one point, I started working as an it was like a project for a school. I started working with the city of Toronto, and then the project finished. So again, no job for me. And now that I just finished the school, I'm back to the first step, energetic. I'm looking for a job, and what I see generally, like I'm very hopeful. I guess with the vaccination and everything, everything will change. It might be not as fast as we want, but gradually everything will change. So we just need faith.
Yes, and Rifa, thank you for sharing that. And I do agree that experience is actually liberating. Without going through those first steps as a newcomer to Canada, I wouldn't be as strong in my decision-making process, because you know what it feels like, smells like, and tastes like to be without a job. You know that life still goes on. It still exists. There is no shame in taking in pursuing your backup plan and taking survival job. It makes you free to choose what you want, what is in line with your personal preferences. So I would like to go back a little bit and see, because I can see how Rucha's request may be in line with what Rifah can share, and how Vinay and Niharika can collaborate. So do you have questions for each other? Because I also want to make this session as productive for you as possible. I'm a practitioner. There are things that I may not know. So definitely raise your hand and let's see what questions you have for each other. Wants to go first? Rusha, do you have any questions for?
Yeah, I'll go first. So, as I said, this is a really overwhelming time for me, and I think even my colleagues. So, I just wanted to ask all of you, because all of you have great experience, and some where you have been in my shoes. So, because I'm in the beginning, we face a lot of rejections. Like, I apply to 10 jobs and I get 9 rejections and one no reply. So, just a question to all of you: does this affect you after, or it just affects in the beginning, because this is the starting of me getting the rejection letters? And like, is it possible to get the one job and at the night you're happy that, okay, at least I landed somewhere? Or it takes time and it takes a lot of effort that when you get it, you're like, okay, I just got it? This is just this might be a random question out there, but it's very important to have that satisfaction after studying for 4 years.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone has something to share and Krucha, so
Yeah, definitely. Who wants to go first?
You can go first.
start talking about rejections.
Yeah, I mean, you can go
Well, you
first.
were smiling. Yes. What do you have to share?
Are you asking me, Tatiana?
Uh, Go ahead. Yes.
All right. So Rucha, first things first, yeah, I think being a new graduate, I would say, you might have already applied for graduate roles, graduate programs. I think PepsiCo or someone is having a graduate program in supply chain right now. I came across that. So please apply there and try to network parallelly. Now, on top of that, I would say there are a couple of things you can do to keep yourself engaged and keep your momentum going. One thing is be open for any job that you get, because you're a freshman. Any sort of experience would help you to get your foot in the door. So anything and everything is a yes. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I would say, anytime you get a rejection, Tatiana and I were conversing about a role yesterday, and she came back to me. So I immediately asked for a feedback. So you have to really capitalize on the rejections, because that's where you get to know what are the gaps. So go back to the employer if you have their email address. Be humble, even on LinkedIn, and say, guys, I appreciate, I was not selected for this role, but I would really be grateful and appreciate it if you can let me know what are the gaps you have identified, or what skills do I need to use, because, I'm still in the market, I'm looking for new jobs, and this will help me. I can learn from the experience. So this is the most important thing, I think, about rejections. Rejections are actually good if you use it in a positive way. I think that is what I wanted to add.
And also, Niharika, I want to bring you to the conversation, because I know we spoke a few weeks ago and you sounded a bit frustrated and concerned about the job market. And then we spoke recently and you said that you see some traction, something has changed. What is it that you did differently in your job search strategy? What helped you see those results in the job search? Because you are in a relatively similar position, looking for a first employment in Canada, like Rucha, and maybe we can learn from your experience too.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to agree with Vinay on the points which he has given to Rucha. I think they are very helpful. For me as a newcomer, it's very challenging to get my first step in any of the employers. So my job strategy, I had to change a bit. I strategized, what do I want? What am I looking for? I used to note down and make a track of what all jobs I have applied every day. Which date, what is the response I'm pending. I used to track each and every activity, what I do right now. Maybe through LinkedIn, I apply my jobs, through Indeed. And I will be the first one to scan, first of all, which jobs am I looking for? Am I interested for? Supply chain is a very, very big domain, I can say. So are you interested in procurement? Kunal said it rightly. Are you interested in logistics? So I categorize my search in that direction. I would be very particular. And being in energy industry since 6 years, I thought, what are the skills which are important for energy industry? What are the transferable skills which can be used to different industries? Because if I want to shift from energy industry to pharmaceutical, say, as Farah mentioned, she was working in pharmaceutical. So what are the transferable skills? What are the supply chain skills which I can apply? So I used to categorize my search in that direction. And parallelly, I used to have, if I applied for a job, I used to try to connect with the people working over there. I used to understand how the work culture works over here. What is the normal procedure they follow in a supply chain over there? What are the different ERP systems, I can say? Because back in India, like in my home country, I worked with almost 6, 7 organizations. Everybody has different system and ERP systems to work with. So I used to try and connect with on that grounds with in networking, I can say, and yeah, that helped me a lot to get the responses from the employer also. So I used to basically search in LinkedIn what are the latest jobs that have been there, and say 24 hours this job has been posted. So I used to apply it and then start my networking with that employer. If it doesn't work, it's okay. I would have moved on to some other job. So that's how I started getting the responses from the employers. And to answer to Rucha also, I would like to add on, I have applied almost 130 jobs and I'm getting responses now. So every day, even I used to wake up with the rejections. So don't get bogged down with with the rejections. Try, that is something that will make you as a stronger person, I would say. Try to learn where we lack. I mean, that's very important. Some of the skills what we need to learn. So are you willing to learn? Being in energy industry, I'm willing to learn what works in another industry. What systems do they follow? So that willingness should come within from us, and eagerness to how things work over here. So that's very important what I have learned in past, I can say, 2 months of over here. See, though my everybody's journey is different, you have to carve your own journey. So just be positive and be strategic in your approach. Be focused. Where do you want to apply? It's like I used to categorize, this is my dream job, this is what I want to work for. Okay, this is something I want to do, but for a time being, it's okay. So that's how I laid down my plan. Everybody has a plan. So just try to work in that direction. How many jobs per day? Okay, if this strategy didn't work, what should I change? How should my resume look like? How should my cover letter be aligned with it? So that's how I started doing my research on everything. And yeah, everybody has been very supportive over here, I can say. Try and learn from other people how they did all this work, and then you can think about your own journey where you want to see yourself. So
yes, being curious about
yeah,
people's journey. And also, Niharika, you mentioned that you started to follow up on your applications with the hiring team, with people who work in that organization. What about the response rate? Like, let's say if you follow up, how often do you see people responding back to you? Do you find that part of networking productive or not as much?
some most of the times I didn't get any response, so I said okay. Sometimes I used to forget, okay, that door is maybe closed for me, I should not. But in the next week I used to get the response. So don't think that once you have approached to that person, you don't follow up too much, I will say.
Yeah.
After a week, maybe give a 1 week's time to everyone, because everyone is occupied because of pandemic. Everyone has their meetings and everything scheduled, the family things are there. So be patient, I can say. After a week's follow up, if I think things start moving, it's okay. Give a week's time, I would say, through LinkedIn or maybe through email, whatever works best for you, because everybody's scenario is totally different. So I used to normally, if I've connected someone through job fair, I can say, so I used to reach out to them. Okay, maybe I'm interested in this role. If the job opening is still there, I would be happy to connect and I would be able to share my experience. And okay, if it is closed, then that's also okay with me. Maybe some other time the roles come up, at least my resume will be there in the database. So that's how my approach was. So be open, I can say, and whatever platform works best for you. I think LinkedIn and email are the best that have worked in my favor, I can say.
Yes, and I can add to the existing job market. I typed in supply chain in the job search part of LinkedIn, and 1,000 results came back to me. So which means 40 pages. And what I was surprised with, and this is not the first time I see that, if let's say I go to page 35, I can still see jobs that are just 2 days old or 5 days old. So explore the entire result pool, because you never know where the job that you may be good for, on which page it is. So be open, and of course increase the number of jobs you apply for.
Yeah.
And that can be done by being focused. And
I would like to also add on here, Tatiana, like LinkedIn Easy is where, sometimes you have many recruiters posting the job. Okay. So there's something easy apply, as in where you can directly just post your resume based on just going through the job description. That also gives you a lot of responses, because many a times, we just go through, okay, this is just to 1 month old, we will not apply. But sometimes that can work in your favor. I'm not suggesting to apply a job which is 1 month old, but still your CV will go in the databases. And website search is also very important, which I didn't mention in this thing, because many jobs are posted directly on the website, and maybe you can add your email ID and subscribe. So what are the latest jobs that are there in the directly coming to the portal? You can also come to know, okay, this role may be interesting. The LinkedIn job may not be interesting to you. Maybe the website portal, which has directly the job opening, that can be interesting to you as well. So both of this a combination of this can work for any one of us. I mean, everyone, I can say.
Yes, absolutely. And Kunal, I see that you're nodding and smiling. And what how is your networking on LinkedIn going? Because in job search, and that's for all of us, and there are 3 ways of finding the job. It's basically applying online, having a profile in the right shape, and your resume registered with multiple portals, so that recruiters and hiring managers reach out to you. And the 3rd way is through networking. In fact, networking is a very effective way of finding a job for people who don't have experience in the country or who are new to the work environment. So I want to see, for example, Kunal, what is your experience with networking? Do you network? How do you do that?
Yes. So initially, I never used to network that much, although I have a lot of connections on LinkedIn. But since now I'm there in the market, I realize how important it is to network. So what I usually do is just search based on who's a recruiter. If you can literally see in mail that the person, whoever has posted the job, so you can go, I mean, if you have applied for that job, go for that person and just be humble. That's very important. Just follow up that I have applied for this job. What do you think? Do you think, looking at my profile, I might be a suitable fit? So once you ask such certain kind of questions, which are like not, I would say, a bound question, but you can expect them to reply back. And certainly, I have waited like say 10 days, and after 10 days, all of a sudden, I even got a mail. I'm not naming the organization or anybody. I got a mail literally Sunday night at 10:30 saying that are you free for an interview at 9:30 in the morning? So I was like, wasn't that pretty early? But yeah, I mean, see, that happens. And I had literally emailed them 10 days back, in fact. So you never know. And then I realized it was the person who was sitting in France, say 6 hours back. That is what the time difference is. So yeah, I mean, for her, it was Sunday evening, and for us, it was night here. So you never know. So you just have to just keep on going. Once you stop, that just ends your story right there. So I would say, and that's very important what Niharika said, she has applied to 130 jobs, commendable thing. Rucha, especially to you, when I graduated, I had applied to 108 or 103 jobs. I don't remember the exact number. And you'll be pretty surprised. I got literally 4 calls and I converted 1.
And Kunal, for those jobs, like, did they require 5 years of experience, 2 years of experience? Because I often hear from new fresh grads, like, how come everybody's looking for 5 years or 3 years of experience? So what is your impression of that? Is it just for the sake of...
Exactly. So I would say if it's under 4 years and you're a fresher, go for it. If anything above 5 years, don't apply. Because certainly, like you will say because when you apply to a job, probably I would say in LinkedIn, you would say if it's an associate level or a mid-level size, right? Or, I mean, the mid-level department. So mid-level would usually require 3 to 5 years of experience. So if you don't have that sort of experience, or you're a fresher, they will not look at your resume. But I was I would say I was lucky in particular because I'm sitting in Smiths Falls. That's like, I'm not even sure how many of you have actually heard the name of this small county. So that's in Ottawa. Sorry, that's near Ottawa. And what's that? Sorry.
Smith Falls, right?
Smiths Falls, yes. So that's where Canopy headquarters are. And I'm still here. I'll be leaving this place probably in next 10 days. But with that being said, especially to you, Rucha, so the job required an MBA. Like MBA was preferred. I have never done an MBA. But see, so I literally got a call and they had questioned my Excel skills. They had asked me if you could do pivot. I have done a specialization in Excel. And I had, by that, obviously, like 2.5 years back, I didn't do Tableau or any sort of analytical, the specialized this thing. So literally, they asked me how well you can do pivoting, how well you can do VLOOKUPs. When I showed to them, they got they were pretty surprised, and they offered me a job right up front. And like an organization that has more than 5,000 people, you usually see there are 3 rounds of interview, like first with the HR, second with the hiring manager, and the third with the senior director or the senior person, right? That's usually the trend that we see nowadays. But I was fortunate enough to get selected in 2 rounds. So that was first was with the HR, and the second one was with the hiring manager. So my manager was fortunately there in that call. And she was like, wow, I like that person. Although having like 0 Canadian experience, obviously, like all of us, I'm pretty sure even Vinay would agree with me. If you have some experience, or Niharika would agree, definitely, if you have some experience back home, that really doesn't matter to people here in Canada in particular, because obviously the way we used to work in India is different than what the Canadian market, or how the Canadian market works, right? So yeah, just go for it. Never stop. The day you stop, things will not come in your favor. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when you look back at your day and you know you have done your best, it helps you stay positive. It helps you feel proud of yourself and celebrate short wins. Even if you got invited for an interview, be proud of yourself. Don't set unrealistic goals and wait until you deserve to be respected or celebrated. It's your achievement. And even in my work, when I look back and I say, well, I have done the best I could. So I'm proud of myself, even though I did not get the results that I was hoping for. So Rifa, you are in a leadership position, you are in management, and Kunal just mentioned applying for a job without meeting all the requirements. How careful are you when applying for a job? Do you look at the requirements part? Does that slow you down? Like, what is your impression of the requirements and how you manage that?
Okay, yeah, actually a good question, because I have an actual example that maybe it will be useful for everyone here. So I started my master's degree. I was working already, and I was in management position, and I started applying for another pharmaceutical company. And I used the name because it was my goal back then to go to this company. It was Johnson & Johnson. And I found a job on their website because I'm that type of person. I don't just rely on LinkedIn or Indeed. I constantly check those companies that are my target. I mean, I have a target, like some of the companies, like I check them every day almost to find a position. And I felt like, okay, this position is the one that I wanted. I check the requirements. I go like line by line. I'm very detailed about this type of stuff because I have background, like I've experienced like not going line by line and, accepting job that it wasn't me, even though it was for a short period of time. I felt, okay, I'm not going to do that again. So everything was great. And I start having it was very funny because I even had like 3 rounds of interviews with them, and I got rejected in the last one. And I was shocked. I was seeing myself in that position. It was. And I had a good cry the day after that I received. The first day that I received their answer after 3 rounds of interviews, I was shocked. And the day after I had a good cry. That's
a great That's great.
Yeah, and I'm not ashamed of that. I mean, I'm telling everyone just to let you. I mean, probably guys will be like, okay, she's a girl, but no, it's not. I mean, well, anyway, like like in any way you can be sad. So I had that moment. I put myself back together. I was like, okay, so what I want to do is like I need to know what happened here because I went through like line by line with this job description. I wanted to know. So what I did, I sent an email to HR because she was very much involved in like every round of interviews with me. Even the last round, she was in the room. And she was very kind. She explained very brief, not very, because this is like most of companies' policy not to explain you what is wrong or because you're being chosen like among so many people or so many, candidates and they are not really allowed to let you know like, okay, you have this problem. This is your job to know what was wrong. But like getting a little bit of help helped me actually to understand. And the point was not me not be I wasn't a good fit for the job. I had all the skills, but I was like more into leadership roles, as you said, as you mentioned, Tatiana. But they wanted someone just to let's say someone that who wants to at least for 2 years not going through leadership or like let's say getting promoted or anything. They want someone just to do what they asked for to do. And I wasn't that type of person. So it was personality, conflict. It wasn't anything about my resume or anything about the job description. Sometimes it's very, in management position, it's very detailed. It's very difficult sometimes to fit in the job. So it's not about, sometimes if you look at it, it says they want 3 years of experience and you get, backed off and you don't apply. Actually apply for it and go to their interviews and see if you're a good fit. It's not that they choose you, you also choose them, because when you start talking, they will see, okay, this person is a good leader, this person can do more, this person maybe is good for another role. They might even if I come back to you with another offer with the same company. This type of stuff happens a lot, so never get scared. That was my experience. So she helped me a little, like, this is the personality conflict, you want to go for more and we want someone to just stay in this position at least for a few years, because we don't want to like we don't have any plan to expand that specific part of department that they had back then. So I learned my lesson. It wasn't, I mean, don't get disappointed. It's always something that might even work like in your favor. So now I understand whenever I have an interview, I know like how to exactly manage my interview and how to show like my true self, because sometimes you feel like I don't have to, like show like who I am. No, actually they need to know, because you're going to live with them. It's not just a job. So if you are going to live with a company for 8-10 hours sometimes a day, they need to know you. They need to know if you are a good fit. It's like a family. You are actually like you're forming a family.
Yes.
So
thank you. And I know that Ruchi has an appointment with her school, so we will let you go. It's 11:15.
Yes, it was so good to be here. I learned so many things. Thank you all of you for all the guidance, and hopefully we can connect more and we can have more professional relationship with each other. Thank you so much for having me here. I hope all of you have a good week.
Thank you, Rusha. Have a nice day too.
Thank you.
And Rifa, to your point, when you mentioned about leadership and personality conflict, for leadership roles, hiring manager is also looking at you from the perspective, will you be able to click with the team? You don't get to meet the team, and they can visualize the person who can handle, because teams these days are very diverse. You can see millennials, you can see seasoned professionals, you can see people who need more guidance than others, and they're looking often for coach and mentor personality. So there is an aspect that is not visible to you but is visible to them. And of course, if you present yourself in a professional way, if your communication skills are excellent, if you ask really good questions, if you let them conduct the interview, if you respect their opinion, it is just a matter of time. Keep applying, stay persistent. And Vinay, what I also want to get back to the resume aspect. I reviewed all your resumes in detail, so I very satisfied. I think they are in great shape. I saw something when what I found is that your resume was a bit long. You gave me 2 files, like 3-4 pages. And I saw that the big part of it is short-term assignments in India. And those things, like when you job hop that often, for many recruiters and hiring managers, it is a red flag. That's how they decide whether they are going to connect with you and speak with you or not. So I advise, for those of you who have short-term projects, assignments after the graduation, if they are distant, if they happened 5-10 years ago and they were back home, maybe even remove them from your resume, because your recent role, you were dedicated to Magna for 3 years, I believe, to something. Yeah. So that companies are looking for your loyalty, they are looking for your dedication, and don't let them make assumptions about you without even meeting you. So maybe consolidate your experience and present it in a way that these are the skills that I gained during these years after the graduation, to shorten your resume and to make it more focused.
Yeah, sure. I'll work on that. Yeah, that is one of the caveats I always hear. People say, oh, you've changed so many jobs. Then I have to tell them the story before coming here. Because 2 of those jobs were taken in the transition after UK to Canada, in that span of 1 year. So definitely, I'll have to work on that. And maybe that is something that is creating a question mark or a caveat, as I mentioned, in the hiring process or the interview process. Thanks for your feedback, Mom.
Yes, that's. I hope you don't mind, because
no.
I see it often. And also, if I had an interview yesterday, and the person had a short-term work assignment, and when I asked her why she left, it was a brand name company. I don't know people who would voluntarily leave this company after like a year, and her answer was that it was a contract. So things like that are going to help the person who is reading your resume come up with assumption of your potential loyalty, your interest in the company. Clarify those details. Was it contract, or maybe you were on maternity leave, if you have gaps? But what I encourage all my candidates, avoid using functional resume. It is so confusing. When I see a functional resume, it takes me forever to find out when exactly that particular experience happened, because in supply chain we are also looking at how recent your experience is with this change of technology, the processes, things that you did 10 years ago may not be done the same way right now, and that experience may not help you get the job. So always look maybe 5 years back and analyze the value you can potentially bring to the company, how recent that experience is. So do you have any questions for me? And please, I'm here to support, and keep in mind that there are other job seekers watching us, and they may have questions.
I have a question, actually. So based on your experience, because maybe like some of us maybe think that it's not very important to, like very like small details, like sending thank you letters, like, thank you notes, or, like the email, like follow up, like small follow up emails, or those stuff. How important are they after, like, let's say we had the interview, everything goes well, but sometimes, you shy away from sending, something to people, like even for thank you note, we forget, not that we don't want it. So how important?
Yeah, Rifa, that's a really good question. And first of all, I can tell you something from my practice, from my experience. If the company who is hiring if that company really liked you, and they are afraid of losing you, they will do their best to keep you in the loop. Because right now, companies are also concerned about losing the candidate to other opportunities, especially if this candidate represents a huge value to their team. So keep that in mind. If they really want you, they will find a way to even let you know that, sorry, no news so far, but we will keep you posted. It's really nice to follow up. I also have examples when people, by following up, brought up their personality and, oh, that's the candidate that we really liked. Follow up just once, a week after you had an interview, and let's say it's been a week, you haven't heard anything back. Just say a nice follow-up note or message. Make sure it's clean and short. Do not use this opportunity to sell yourself again and tell them how good of a fit you are. It's up to them to decide. Your job is just to remind them that you are still available in the market, that you really enjoyed the conversation, you are looking forward to work with them, and you are still interested in the opportunity. Basically express your interest, that you are still thinking about this job. That's it, and thank them. As far as thank you letter, there are different ways. If you are represented by a recruiter, then probably recruiter is taking care of that. The simple answer, thank you letter, should be about thanking the person who spent time with you. Oftentimes I see thank you letter being a reminder. Do not forget, I'm a great fit for this job. If you don't know, here is why. So when avoid being pushy, respect that other people have their own opinion, respect their decision to choose or not to choose you, and move on. We talked about numbers. 100 jobs, 130 jobs, 200 jobs, it's a numbers game. But if those jobs are in line with your previous experience, it's just a matter of time when it will materialize. But of course, think once and follow up once. If you haven't heard anything for about a week, it's a good idea to just follow up once. So thank you. Thanks for your question, Riha. And Vinay, I know that you also are actively looking for work. With your diverse experience, how do you decide what you want to pursue, what jobs you want to pursue? Because you did so many different things in the past.
Yeah, certainly, Tatiana. I think for me right now, it's a very good question. I am open towards procurement roles, but like Niharika said, I haven't worked hands-on in a centralized purchasing function where I'm negotiating or looking at year-on-year reductions in terms of cost savings. But most of my experience here has been in planning. Back home, it was in purchasing. So I don't know if I would get into a purchasing role, I think I'll have to compromise on the fact that I can get into a managerial role directly. But if it's something which I've done now in terms of material planning and logistics, I think I can then progress into a vertically, I think a lateral move or a promotion, I would say. So it's seniority wise. So that's the trade-off, I think, but I'm being open for both of them. It's, as long as supply chain is a vast function, I could get either of these roles, it would be fine, I believe, for my the stage I'm at this career.
So I hear that you are looking for growth. You are looking for companies that can offer you multiple opportunities to demonstrate yourself in different aspects. So therefore, for example, it's just my advice, focus on organizations that maybe are manufacturers that can put you into different positions internally where your talent shines through, where you can demonstrate your knowledge and skills. It's also important when we are desperately looking for opportunity, it's tempting to take the first one that comes your way. However, it may not be the right decision long-term. So if growth is important for you, if being involved in different aspects of supply chain is important for you, then focus on the industry that can offer those opportunities for your professional growth long-term. Because let's say if you work for a distributor or for a retail company, the growth there is pretty limited to certain functions. And you may face the same challenge in a few years where you don't see the growth, but looking back, you already lost 2 or 3 more years. So that, of course, we all have to take the job if we have an absolute need in it, but having a lot of things on the go will open up your perspective and you will have a few jobs to choose from, ideally. That's so.
Certainly. I'm doing all the tricks and trades in the job search business right now. like you mentioned, applying for all the positions. I think, the silver lining is if you, let's say, apply for some organization and at least the hiring manager gets to see your CV, like Niharika said, at least it's a part of networking exercise itself. Like, tomorrow they have a role, they'll have you in mind. So it really helps. So I would say, there's a saying in India, Sam Dam Dandabhed, I'm just trying all the cards and just trying to make the most out of it, I would say.
Yes. Actually, my job in supply chain came to me through networking while doing my survival job. I was a receptionist in a rehab clinic, the clinic where people get after they go through car accident. So I was there at the reception and the lady walked in and we were chatting. So basically I was networking. I was talking to people that I I worked with, that I met at that time. And when she mentioned that I was working for Hudson's Bay Company, my first response was, "Oh, do you mind taking my resume to your HR department?" And so the huge part of that was urgency. I had to send the resume the same day so that person still remembers about me, remembered about me. So I sent that resume, and then a month later, I got a call from Hudson's Bay saying that our supply chain manager looked at your resume and she wants to see you tomorrow. So that was the phone call that I received. It was, of course, I was very happy. It was the happiest day of my life at that time. So absolutely networking, even if you are doing survival job, even if you are engaging in small talks with people, you never know from which direction the opportunity may come. And on LinkedIn, networking does not, it's not only exchanging messages or scheduling Zoom calls. And keep in mind, if you request a stranger to spend 20 minutes with you on the Zoom, it may not be the right way to do, because you're violating someone's boundaries. They don't even know you. How are they going to invest their time in a conversation where they may be busy with their daily tasks? Networking on LinkedIn is also liking posts, engaging in comments, sharing some thoughts. And I saw that, Niharika, you shared a post recently that I really enjoyed reading about leadership. So stay active there, connect with people and follow them before you ask for something. And of course, keep in mind that networking is also giving, not just receiving. Maybe there is something that you can help other people with, like the same thing we're doing right now. See, we helped Rucha to stay optimistic. So guys, we are getting close to that 1 hour of the conversation that I initially planned. Do you have any other questions for me? And then we can wrap up with your impression of our today's discussion.
Not a question, but I just wanted to add like a quick note on, like, besides saying thank you to you, because you helped me a lot with my networking, and about like LinkedIn that you mentioned, and networking through LinkedIn. It's very important actually how you approach people, like how, you know, like it's not just, you know, because they don't owe you a job, but you actually, we all want friendship. So if you go like as a friend, like, and not as a friend, as a person that you just meet, like you want to be friends and start. This is what I actually learned from Tatiana, like how to introduce myself to these people and how to find them and how to say that I'm interested. And actually I found an opportunity through that. And it was amazing. I would never actually thought I would find such a thing.
I'm really glad to hear that, Rifa. Thank you.
Okay.
So what are your impressions today, Niharika? How did you find this discussion? Did it help you? Do you feel better?
Yeah, first of all, like once again, thank you, Tatiana. Like you are an inspiration itself, I would say, because when I first time spoke to you, I mean, you told me about your journey. That was very encouraging. So, like me and my husband have come here, so even I encourage him, and I shared your story. So that is a way we inspire each other, I can say, and keep motivated. So I'm glad I met you and everyone here, Vinay, Farah, and Rucha and Kunal. So everybody has their own journey, and you know it's very important to learn on every day on new basis something or the other that keeps you going, I can say. So I don't have much friends over here, but I can say, yeah, I will obviously connect with everyone now after meeting this session. So that's a way I'll make my friendship over here and my journey in Canada. So thank you for, you know, for this session.
Thank you, Niharika. That's really nice to hear. And thanks for your kindness. See, we never know who we inspire when we share our story, when we share our experience, when we share our journey. So be proud of yourself, be humble, and don't be afraid to celebrate your success, big or small. It's important. Vinay, what is your impression?
Oh, it was really good. I hope I'm not on mute. Okay. Yeah, it was really great, lots of insights. And to be honest, it's the subtle thing that, you meet fellow job seekers. This is the first session I've had since March, I would say, since I got into the job seeking boat again. So it was really good to meet and mingle with the people and just get the vibe and the energy, you know what I mean? Like when you put all the energies into one space, it kind of increases the energy of the thing. So I feel like that. I feel like that right now. It's kind of good to know. Rafa has a very good experience. A lot of things she mentioned are good to learn in terms of, you know, because I can relate to her. I'll definitely touch base with Niharika and Kunal separately and you guys, and then learn more about each other and see if we can help each other somehow.
Absolutely. And
So
it's
thanks for arranging this platform for us.
networking is a long-term process. It's a slow process often, but you make connections that can stay with you as long as you want, like forever. So definitely.
Yeah.
Kunal, what is your impression? I hope the session was helpful and I hope you feel better.
Absolutely. To be honest, I was a little skeptical on joining in. I haven't joined such session, like, I don't even know, like what, this has been 3.5, 4 years in Canada now. And this is my first session that I'm interacting with live audience. So yeah, it was great. It was pretty great. And exactly like when I said, it's great to know that all of us are actually in the same boat. And yeah, you never know, we might even help each other someday. So yeah, so my hopes are high. And yes,
excellent.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having us here.
Yeah, Kunal, thank you. The big why behind this session is to help other job seekers to feel better, because oftentimes it's a lonely journey. It's the journey that you take on yourself, and nobody will experience the disappointment for you. You're the one doing it, even though there may be support if you're lucky, or you may be just by yourself. Hearing stories from
the only one.
Yes, being lonely is not what I want people. I mean, if we can make a difference in someone's life today, definitely it would be amazing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for being brave and, you know, agreeing for this video session. I really appreciate your time. Thank you guys.
Having us.
You don't need luck. You just need more time and stay optimistic, persistent, and it will come. Thank you.